We have just arrived at somewhere in the city. It's just so, like, crazy. We're about to head off to the after party. I had the weirdest, scariest Uber ride. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be testing another foundation, and I did say that I was going to test this one because I can't even find it. Wait, where did I put it? Where did I put them? Hello, where did you go? Yeah, I did just film a video and putting them on my face. I'm going to be comparing the COVERGIRL 3-in-1 foundation with the Max Factor 3-in-1 foundation, and I will explain more about that in the video. But obviously at the end of this video you guys will see how the foundation lasts. You'll see me apply it, wear it throughout the day, see the differences between the American and the UK foundations, see which one is better. Hopefully you can see by the end of it whether or not this foundation is any good, so I hope you enjoy. The COVERGIRL Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation, it says it has SPF 20, it says lasting power of primer, coverage of a concealer and blendability of a foundation, shine free, all day flawless coverage, and I have this one in the shade Ivory. I got this when I did an order with, it was either MyUS or GoSend, one of the companies where you can get stuff shipped over, and I know that in America this foundation was pretty popular at one point, so I got it, I tried it, and I really like it. It's one of my favourite drugstore foundations, but we can't get COVERGIRL in the UK. So I was doing some research and I found out that COVERGIRL is owned by the same people that own Max Factor, and Max Factor supposedly has got a bunch of like the same products that COVERGIRL have, but it's just labelled as Max Factor. So this one is called the Max Factor Facefinity All Day Flawless 3-in-1 foundation. It also says primer, concealer and foundation in one. It's also got SPF 20. So these claim to do the same thing. They're called the same name. And I have my Max Factor one in light ivory. The colours look very similar, like next to each other. I was looking at the ingredients on the back and they have pretty much the same ingredients. Some of the ingredients are in slightly different orders and stuff, but I don't know if that's to do with like the US and UK or whatever. But if you want to see the ingredients and the similar ingredients, then have a Google. I'm not going to bore you with it in this video because a lot of people, I'm sure, don't care. Just for reference, I have really oily skin if you are new to my channel, and I've primed my face as always using my Soap & Glory Speed Plump All Day Super Moisture Marvel. I don't like using an actual kind of primer, like, you know, the silicone kind of primers. I don't really like the professional type things. I prefer to use some kind of thing, moisturizer or serum or something that has glycerin in it. So you know how everybody hyped over the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm because that was like a moisturizer with glycerin in it? This is actually a moisturizer by Soap & Glory that has glycerin in it. It's obviously supposed to be used on your face, and I find that it just makes my face tacky, so I find that my makeup sticks to it. So this is what I prefer to use as a primer. So I'm going to use my beauty blender to apply it because that's what I would normally use, and I'm going to use like one side of the beauty blender to do one side of my face, and then I'm going to flip it over and use like the other side, if that makes sense. Okay, so on my right side I'm going to do the COVERGIRL one, which is the one that I've already used a bunch of times, and I normally tend to do like a pump and a half or 2 pumps of this foundation. So here I've just done like slightly less than 1 pump, and then I'm just going to put the Max Factor one on the other side of my face, getting the same sort of amount, and let's see how these compare. Looking at the colour of them now, I feel like they actually look pretty much exactly the same on my face. I'm going to blend out this side first using 1/2 of my beauty blender. Oh, I would normally put a blob on my nose, but it's kind of hard to put it on like half your nose. Okay, so hopefully there you can see that it has pretty good coverage. I would say it's kind of like a medium coverage. It definitely covers up some of the redness, covers up my under eye bags, some acne scars and stuff, and just generally like evens out my whole skin tone. So that was the side of the beauty blender that I used. I'm now going to flip it over and I'm gonna blend out the Max Factor side and see if we get the same sort of results. I'm just going to go over down the centre of my nose just because it's hard to get like half and half on my nose. Looking at my face right now, there is literally no difference. There is no difference in finish, in coverage, in colour. I do feel like, oh wait, I have a big gap in between my eyebrows with no foundation. I do feel like normally I would probably go back in and add in a tiny little bit more, so I'm just going to add in a couple more drops, just like a very small amount. Oh god, I've got fluff all over my finger. I don't want that to end up on my face. So I'm adding another drop of the COVERGIRL one on this side, and then I'm gonna add the same amount of the Max Factor one on my other side, just because it is a buildable foundation. Like, I do find that it builds really nicely, so I'm just going to add a bit more coverage under my eyes and around my nose. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like. I'm just going to give you guys a quick close-up and see if you notice any differences, but personally for me, like, I don't notice any difference between both of the sides. So this is the CoverGirl side, and this is the Max Factor side. I feel like the finish is exactly the same, coverage is the same, colour is the same. So I'm now just going to finish off my makeup as I normally would. I'm going to be using the Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer because I used this the other day and I really like it, so I'm going to use this concealer today. Luckily I'm having quite a good like skin time at the moment, so I don't have too many blemishes to cover. So I'm probably just going to put this under my eyes and like a tiny bit around my nose maybe. I'm just going to put like the excess around the sides of my nose because I don't want to go too crazy with the concealer. Oh, and even though it does say on it that it's like got the coverage of a concealer, I still feel like it's just like a foundation. Like you would still need to use a concealer with this, well in my opinion anyway. So I'm now going to powder my face using my Rimmel Match Perfection powder, which is what I do every day, and this is the translucent one or transparent, whatever you want to call it. So where's my powder brush gone? And I do powder my whole face just because that is what I would normally do. If I don't powder my face, then my foundation would literally come straight off just because of how oily my skin is. I honestly don't understand how people don't powder their foundation. Like, doesn't it just come off on all your clothes? I mean, I know that my face looks pretty matte and pretty flat right now, but I am going to go and finish off doing the rest of my makeup. I'm going to like contour, highlight, do my brows. I might have some crazy eyeshadow on because I think I'm going to film another video, but yeah, this is what my face looks like for now. I feel like it looks really nice, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to have the same results on both sides, but I will check back with you guys in a bit. So the time is currently 2 in the afternoon. I know it's quite late to be starting a foundation testing video, but I stay up pretty late, so I'm still probably going to have this on for at least like 6 or 7 hours, maybe 8 or 9. I don't know, we'll see. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so hello. I've got extremely dramatic makeup on. I would not normally wear this much makeup, but I just filmed a tutorial on this look. So if you want to see this, then it will be up soon. But the foundation has been on now for 2 hours and it's looking pretty perfect still. Like, not really any change at all, which is good. Obviously I've put on like bronzer and highlighter and stuff, so this isn't oil, it's just like highlighter, and I did put like I tried a new highlighter and it was like a bit of a dark colour, so I have like some dodgy looking bits on my cheeks, but the foundation is still pretty much completely matte. I don't think it's starting to get oily yet, maybe just a tiny little bit around my nose, but oh, I've got fallout all over my nose. I just rubbed it in as well. I had eyeshadow on here. I just removed a patch of my nose. Let's just see if I can quickly maybe blend this out. Oh, I don't know. So this is what the foundation looks like after 2 hours. So far there isn't really any change. I mean, I feel like it's started to sink a tiny bit into like my smile lines, a teeny bit, and also to my like forehead wrinkles where I've been using my expressions, but so far so good, apart from this bit on my nose which I just ruined. One thing I did notice is when I went and stood in natural light that the foundation is definitely more pink toned than my neck. I thought it was a pretty good match, but actually looking in the mirror, like my neck is a lot more yellow and my face is a lot more pink. I'll be back in a few hours and we'll see how it holds up. So it's now been on my face for almost 8 hours. On camera, this looks really bad, but I honestly think it's just because of the heavy makeup that I have on my eyes. I did have some eyelashes on, but I've ripped them off and like it's... I'm just not really feeling myself right now. I ripped my eyelashes off, tried to go over my eyeliner, tried to apply some mascara, but it's just gone so clumpy and like weird looking, and I don't know, I feel like my eyes just look really strange anyway because like I've done really dark in the inner corners, so I feel like my face just isn't looking like me. But in terms of the foundation, I'm not sure why, but after like wearing any foundation for any amount of time, I get these lines appear. Like, do you see this line here that starts on the inner corner of my eye? Like, it's not my under eye bags because my under eye bags are like here and they're like dark, but I get these kind of like lines in my cheek. Like, they start here and then they cut across my cheek. Like, I'm not really sure if you can see what I mean, but I've talked about it in videos before. Like, you can see on this side it kind of cuts across my cheek, and I'm not sure why it does that, but it makes me look really old. And like, after wearing foundation for the day, my foundation tends to do that, so I don't know, that's really strange. So I literally feel like by the end of the day I look like a 40-year-old woman just because of the way that my face is. I don't know what that is, but that always happens. The foundation itself isn't looking too bad. I also think it doesn't help that I put on this really dark highlighter earlier, so when I look at the front, this patch just kind of looks muddy. But on my forehead, it's not too oily. On my nose, it is starting to get a bit oily. But looking at the two sides, I did accidentally rub my nose earlier because I completely forgot that I was doing a like testing video, so it has separated around my nose on both sides. I feel like it's actually separated worse on the CoverGirl side, but I think that was where I was scratching my nose. Honestly, like on both sides it looks and feels exactly the same, so I'm pretty sure that these foundations are the same. For like a foundation to be on my face for 8 hours, like this is without powdering like a second time, without topping up my powder or anything. I've had foundations perform a lot worse than this. Some foundations after about 4 hours are looking like an absolute oil slick, so the fact that this has been on for 8 hours and looks how it does now, I mean, I don't think it looks that bad. This right here is my highlight, that's not oil, but you can see, like if I poke my cheek, you can see that I'm starting to get oil like in this area as well, on my forehead and on my nose, and like around the sides of my nose. But I feel like during the day anyway, if I was, you know, out and about, I would powder my face halfway through the day, so that would obviously prolong the foundation. And also I think if I wore a setting spray it would probably last even longer. But for a drugstore foundation, I actually really like it. Like, I really like this foundation. And I also think when it gets oily, it doesn't look disgusting. Like some foundations just literally separate everywhere and it looks horrible. It's not going to be an attractive close-up, but I'm going to do it anyway. So this is what the foundation looks like close up. Okay, here you can see those lines that like cut across my cheeks here. But yeah, as you can see on my forehead, it's starting to get a bit shiny, but it's nothing like dramatic at the moment. These bits up here is actually from my bronzer, like my bronzer had a bit of shimmer in it. But yeah, on my forehead I'm starting to get a little bit oily, and then on my cheeks here, and then also around my nose and on my nose. I would say that my nose is probably the worst part, but that is always the case anyway. It has come off around my nose here, but yeah, I can actually see like scratch marks where I've been doing this. And also I had a bunch of fallout that landed on my nose around here when I was doing my eyeshadow. Please excuse my eyelashes, by the way. And yeah, it's made it go a bit darker. I feel like the Max Factor side held up a little bit better, but again, it is still separated around my nose here. It hasn't sunk into my smile lines too badly, but I think that's because I haven't been doing that much smiling today. I've mostly been editing, but normally when I smile, my smile lines become so prominent and my foundation like literally sticks in them so bad. But yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I think for 8 hours of wear that this looks okay considering like what some foundations look like. Okay, so I do think I'm going to end this video here. I know that I said that I might check back in a couple of times. I'm really sorry that I didn't get to do it for like 10 or 12 hours or whatever, but it's almost 10 o'clock and I have quite a lot to do before tomorrow because I have a really exciting photo shoot, and I need to go and like pack my bags and get ready and shower and all that stuff. So yeah, I need to go do that, so I'm probably going to take off my makeup now. I believe the foundation is normally $11.99, but I got it in special offer for $9.99. You can get it in Boots and Superdrug. So if you're interested, I'll put the links in the description box. Also, if you are from America, I will also put the CoverGirl one in the description box as well. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are new to my channel and you aren't already subscribed, then maybe you want to subscribe, just press the little button down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Okay, so technically I did just finish the video, but I then just went and looked in the mirror, and in the mirror it really doesn't look as bad as it did on camera. I think it was just because, wait, let me just, I don't know, this is probably a really bad idea, but shine my phone torch on. I feel like, okay, no, this is not flattering at all, and it still looks really oily because obviously I have the super bright lights on it, but when I just looked in the mirror under my normal bedroom lighting, the foundation actually looks fine. I think it's just the fact that I have like super bright lights on me that it's not looking okay, but in terms of like actual like foundations, if I was wearing this out in public, I would be fine with having it on my face like this. Obviously when I don't have the super bright lights on me, you can't see these lines as bad and it doesn't look as oily, so yeah, I've got my phone torch on it right now, but yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed with this foundation. I think it's a really good drugstore foundation, and I think if you haven't tried it already, I think you should definitely give it a go. I don't even know if you can see, but my nails look so pretty. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed and see you in a bit.